to get my backup going just in case.
We're through the minutes.
We are live. You're live.
Okay. Okay, everyone, I'm going to call the City Greendale Redevelopment Commission regular meeting to order. It is now 6:03. Required to read this ADA disclosure. The City of Greendale, in compliance with our Title VI implementation plan, is a non-discriminating city. We have developed a complaint of discrimination form that is open to the public at any time, along with a voluntary public survey, and that is back in the back. So with that, we have no final actions from our executive meeting. So I'll jump into the approval of the minutes. Questions, comments, concerns, changes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our March 17th meeting.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes from the March 17th meeting.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, so moved. Thank you. We have a financial report from Becky. One thing that I did ask her, and I think she is going to make some changes, is when you see the, I don't think it's in my pack, but that's okay. For the money that we have earmarked for the levy in the investments column for the, I can't remember, 2.1 million, is it? Is that what it is?
0.4.
That's okay. Yes, I think it's the first page. Right there.
2.7.
2.7 million. She's going to, I asked her, that's not inclusive of the interest that those certificates have, and she said a lot of it has to do with the software that the state provides and they use. But she's going to change something. She asked me if it was okay. I said, Roy, it's up to her. We can understand whatever we need to do with that to make the adjustments that we need. In new business, you will see something that she did renew a CD, and the bank did not put the interest back into the principal and they renewed it. So under new business, I'll be asking for a motion to allow her to move that interest into our next maturing CD. Questions, concerns, thoughts on the financial report? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financial report as presented.
So moved.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, so moved. Thank you. Okay. On the claims, and I don't think, let me pull this up. Sorry. Not a whole lot on the claims. Our legal. Oh, yeah, there's kind of a $224,000 one. So we have our attorney fees, and then we have, in our previous meeting, we okayed some we okayed, what do I want to say, Mike, for the CDC, $20,000. So that claim was presented. And the last thing, the 224, that's Smith Corp. That's who the Board of Works awarded the stormwater project going on at where St. E's is, and we were hoping would eventually be, but may or may not. So I think that project total 700,000,
No, I think it was more, 5.5.
5.5.
Somewhere in there.
Which redevelopment agreed to pay for it, but let the Board of Works manage that. And what this is, and I think Becky might have attached with her, she did, with this, is that I brought into question, there were some invoices from Rizzo for project management of that, and that is not for us to cover. That is for the Board of Works cover. When we agreed to pay for the bid on the winning bid on the job, it was just that, and Board of Works would carry on for the management.
That was the reso fees that were on the claims from
Yeah.
March that we
Yeah.
tabled.
Well,
or
we actually,
approved, pen-
we've
approved
actually
pending.
approved some of the, we did approve some of the fees, because in that, we weren't sure, but what she has done, she has netted that off.
Got it.
Yeah,
Of that.
it basically helped our budget and how we had money allocated for you guys to pay that, and then we essentially reimbursed you through the Smith Court project.
By this.
So,
So the full Smith Corp invoice was not what's in the
correct,
claims.
the full invoice was closer to 250, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Did you guys hear that? Aaron actually, imagine numbers girl, you know, it's like.
Say that
I was
again.
looking at it.
But what's the total for Smith Corp, the invoice?
256, 913, 68 is the
So-
total.
So she netted off the 25+ thousand that we had already
32.
paid.
Yeah.
And how that number worked in the bid, basically that was phase 1 or 50% completion. So that's that 259. That's what that bill was from. And then just since you guys are paying for it, just so you're aware, we did issue a stop work order on them yesterday, I believe. We are waiting for them to comply with a few issues they've had down there the last 3 weeks. And then me and Sean, the utility director, will sign off on it and move forward from there, as long as they're in compliance, so.
And that's why we want the Board of Works to manage this.
Right.
I know I stopped in one day and somebody told me they'd hit a water main, they cut.
No, well, let's see, it started with the sewer main, then Sycamore Gas, they ripped out about 60 foot of their gas line going through there. Then they hit another one of our sewers, and then last Friday, they almost knocked over a utility foot pole that is the main feed for one of our main pumps going towards the car wash.
Didn't
Not
they cut the Homeland Security fiber?
Yep, that, cut that as well. And in the meantime, the drive apron going in there and our Gore area, Highway 50, is completely undermined. So that's where the stop work order came into play.
So they will, and we've worked with Smith, Corp. From what I understand, we've worked with Smith Corp. Before, they've always done a great job.
And that's
So-
what Rizzo, who's helping us oversee it, I mean, Mike Rizzo, he had 3 or 4 jobs with him, said there was no problems. We had no problems with him on the other side. And I think talking with the owner yesterday, for lack of better words, they have a bigger job going on right now. So all of his key guys are on that job, and we got stuck with what was left for this part of it.
Got
And
the B team.
I basically told him that's not our problem, and you're not working anymore, so.
Yeah, good,
Change your
good.
name to Rip and Tear.
Okay, questions or on any of the claims? If not,
Do we need to make the payment while we're waiting for the stop work
Well,
order?
yes, you
Yes,
still have to
yes.
do that. That part's done.
Okay.
It's just moving, like, for any liquidated damage that they're in right now, we legally can't charge them for that right now because we're not allowing them to work. But anything past that or previous, you have to pay them for that though, yeah.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims as presented.
I'll make the motion to approve the claims as presented.
We have a motion, we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, so moved. One Dearborn, Mike, I'll turn over to you. We have the Stellar and the Greendale Bike and Pedestrian Plan proposed fees.
Yep. So just to start with Stellar, we've had HWC Engineering meet with the board of Greendale Main Street. We talked about the kind of branding of the streetscape and plaza space. You know, some of you may have seen like the branding around that has been like Old Town, and that was something that was pulled out of the Greendale Main Street downtown preservation plan that HWC identified. But we let them know, you know, Old Town is not really anything that anybody locally has really ever referred to that area as, and so we just work with HWC to brainstorm some potential ideas on what that area could be branded, like what do we want to call that plaza space, that neighborhood, with this new investment, with the 2.75 million Stellar grant coming in to there. So there were some ideas offered up, but certainly nothing settled on at this point. We talked about, you know, maybe presenting a list of ideas to the project steering committee and to shortlist that, and then maybe, you know, some sort of public input, feedback on that branding of that area as well. If redevelopment's interested in seeing some of the concepts that have been developed so far, we can share those with you.
Is Main Street ultimately the one that makes the decision on that? No?
No.
No?
Yeah, it'll probably be, I don't know. Board of Works is kind of running the project, but I don't know, I guess if council or the mayor want to discuss who makes that decision.
We really
It's
haven't-
above my pay grade.
We really haven't brought Board of Works members in on the conceptual ideas that we've in the plans, though.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? As far as the design of it, they haven't really been involved in that. We'll just run it.
Yeah, that's something that, depending on, if you think Board of Works needs that, like maybe talk to HWC about at some point visiting with the Board of Works, or providing some materials to them.
I mean,
Some of those concepts aren't really ready for public.
no, I
distribution
agree.
yet,
I
but-
mean, I don't necessarily think Board of Works has a say in what signage we're using per se. I think that's Main Street Redevelopment and maybe council.
Mhm.
I think it's more of just the plans and stuff like that, that maybe we would involve Board of Works and that issue of it, I think,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah, I would, go ahead.
The branding of that area is gonna be fairly important, I think, in having it consistent and lining up with any of the additional Main Street plans that they're having for that area, I think is gonna be really, I'm not saying that Main Street has to be the one to make the decision, but I think it's important. I wouldn't treat it willy-nilly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I do think, though, that Board of Works, I think you need to at least start bringing Sean in once, because there's so many utilities.
Which Sean, I had Sean in that last meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
Because of that reason. I mean, we're starting
Yeah,
to
I mean,
discuss
there's so
utility
much
issues.
old stuff down there.
And Steve Lampert's been sitting in on the
Good.
steering committee,
Yeah.
and Nathaniel, so like, there's representation. It's just, at the point that we're ready to, you know, share designs publicly.
I mean, I just.
Makes sense.
We could show it with the whole group.
I think that as far as Board of Works goes, I think myself, Sean, and even Board of Works just need to stay as an advisory, not actually make decisions on what signs you guys choose to use and stuff. I don't think that's our decision to make,
Right,
so.
I agree.
Okay. And there will be public engagement as that process moves forward. Again, we're targeting August for the application to go in to the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs for that Community Development Block Grant, for that $2.75 million into that project. And the Southeast Indiana Regional Planning Commission as the grant administrator, hired by the Board of Works for that project. They've told us that there will need to be some kind of, you know, public hearing, and even beyond that, I think you'll see, you know, some sort of public workshop, maybe hosted at the cabin or something, to show off some of the concepts when, again, once we get those a little bit further along. Any other questions on Stellar? All right, so for the Greendale Bike and Pedestrian Plan, your last meeting, the Redevelopment Commission took under advisement to the recommendation of two firms, which were among the three that submitted proposals for that bike and pedestrian planning. Keep in mind, the city of Greendale received a $20,000 planning grant from the Indiana Department of Health that helps pay for this planning project. In your last meeting, the Redevelopment Commission decided to ask the two top scoring firms to provide cost or fees. It might take me a minute to pull it up.
Here,
Do you have them?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
If anybody has a print off of it, feel free to throw those numbers out, otherwise it'll
So,
take me a minute to find it.
MSP Design came in at $49,350, $49,350. HWC Engineering came in at $25,000.
So there's quite a discrepancy there. Whatever the difference is between the $20,000 planning grant and the total fee from either of these two firms would be, Redevelopment Commission could consider making up that difference. So, one's 40+ thousand, one's 25,000. I think
They all
both
bid off the
firms
same RFP.
are capable.
They both bid the same RFP.
Mm-hmm.
So we are looking for an action, so, I think we can award HWC, I would assume. And Mike, normally we award the lowest, most responsive bidder. Have you already determined that they would be that, or do you need to go into more in-depth into the?
If you're asking me for a recommendation, HWC is capable. They've demonstrated that through multiple projects they've done with the city of Greendale. They are designing the Ridge Avenue streetscaping project currently, which is kind of complementary to the bike and pedestrian plan. So, and they're, the most lowest bid here. If you want my recommendation, that would be it.
Okay. So, kind of a couple things going on. I still think we need to do the lowest, most responsive bid.
Yeah.
But with that, I think the motion would also be to have redevelopment contribute the additional 5,000 for the full project, not the full project,
Yeah, the difference
gap,
between the planning grant, and
yeah.
project planning fee.
Yeah. So, again, that's my suggestion, but obviously, it's up to you guys.
Yeah.
I think there's a benefit to having HWC already involved in the city, in the streetscape program. There's some costs that they maybe have already consumed.
I would-
in
I
work
would-
that they've already done.
Not to speak for them, but I would say that they've done a lot of survey and preliminary stuff already in that area. So they probably took a lot of that information
Right.
and incorporated into this.
Which is money that that the city has already spent,
Right.
and they have already spent as well.
Yeah, NSP had I think they had a line item, like, as part of their analysis, that was like an on-site, boots on the ground.
Yeah.
That was a big portion of that.
Yeah, I think the two bids are closer together than they look. I think HWC has some costs that have already been.
They've already absorbed, yeah.
I would agree with that.
Didn't council apply for the grant and they got the money, and then the money comes to us? Isn't that what happened here?
Mike, can you answer that?
Pardon me, repeat that question.
Council applied for the grant, correct? and they
Yes.
got the money and gave us the responsibility because we've been doing the
Trails and walkability have kind of lived here at redevelopment.
Yeah.
That's always, trails since Mayor Weiss has fallen under this board, right or wrong.
Ryan, what was the impetus for them to apply for the grant? Just,
We had been working on a trail connectivity plan throughout the city, and this grant became available, and we applied for it.
okay.
Are you thinking maybe the city could?
I mean, it's $5,000. I'm not gonna quibble over it, but.
We have our own expenses.
Well, they're the ones that want the study done, right?
Don't say they. Say they.
Pleasure of the board.
Yeah, and we did interview 4 firms for this, for qualifications, and
Yeah.
then these were the 2 highest for that. I don't know that
Yep.
was mentioned here tonight.
I'll make a motion that we accept the HWC bid and that we cover the $5,000 extra.
Okay. We have a motion.
I would second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Mike, anything else?
No, we'll, I don't know if we have a copy of it here, but execute, I'll have Mike sign that planning grant services agreement with HWC and get that back to them.
Okay.
That's all I have
Okay.
for now.
Under Anthony's, and again, he is watching his 2 boys play some ball tonight, so good for him. We do have an official name for the KPG Apartments, Copper Creek Apartments. And, so it's kind of exciting. I think they're gonna start going up pretty soon, are they not?
They're gonna get into a weird spot, I think, when they have to start capping. They're putting in the storm right now and catch basins, and then backfilling. Once they get that done, they have to cap, I wanna say 2 foot with clean soil.
Okay,
And then depending on what that first test comes back, there's a waiting period. But the way they have done it, they'll basically be able to start to continue digging and start building on another part of it.
okay.
Because they've kind of broke it up into sections so they can keep developing while they're building the building, so.
Okay, exciting.
I had the developer was in town last week. He said they were targeting June, July timeframe for vertical construction, maybe
Yeah,
to
I'd
start.
say that's probably accurate.
And then, also, we've been referring to this project as, KPG Greendale or Enclave, but, they've settled on a name. You want to talk about the names?
I did,
Copper Creek Apartments.
Copper Creek,
Okay.
yeah. Copper Creek, so. And I'm assuming we'll have a groundbreaking when they're ready, so.
I would think so. I said it's a mess out there right now. It's not really groundbreaking yet, so.
Yeah, well, it's something I think we'd like to do this summer. Some sort of groundbreaking around the time that vertical construction would start.
Okay.
And being a ready funded project, we'd probably look to invite, some state level people to come down and maybe participate in that.
Valley Woods, nothing on that, well, I say nothing on that, but I do have something that's not on the agenda, my apologies. We need to get on the property on Sycamore Woods Drive that we have, we do need to get appraisals on that property as we start thinking about any potential housing. And so I guess I would ask for the approval of us to get 2 appraisals on that property. Mike, any idea? Mike and Anthony and I talked about this today. I don't think we know they're gonna be residential. We know they're gonna be residential lots, so I think we can do, and Anthony agrees, Mike agrees, we can do a residential appraisal, which will be less expensive. We will give them the boring report on that, but I would just like a a motion or an approval from the board for us to obtain 2 appraisals of that property.
Is that Sycamore Woods
Sycamore Woods Drive.
Drive? Yeah. On the lake. I think, you can just assign in a budget to One Dearborn for the appraisals. Then we'll go out and get a couple performed, which is what statute requires if redevelopment is gonna acquire and then look to market those properties, so.
And my apologies, I just do not know what an appraisal,
I think last time we went through this, like $8,000, I think is the number that we redevelopment budgeted
for both, for the 2 front
to get 2
properties.
appraisals done, yeah.
So, I don't know.
How long ago was that?
Last year,
End of last year,
yeah.
yeah.
Do we need an amount? Or do we need a not to exceed?
Why don't we do a not to exceed amount?
I think so.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion that we enter into agreement with One Dearborn to do 2 appraisals, not to exceed $10,000 for the Sycamore Woods property.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion, and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? So moved. Thank you.
You said 10,000?
Not to exceed 10.
Yeah. Thank you.
Nothing under me. I will say that we did the BWF groundbreaking. And I've been to a number of groundbreakings. That was the most attended groundbreaking I've ever been to. They brought all their employees over.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of state representatives, just a lot of people there, and it was a very windy day, but very nice day, and Mike did a nice job, and they got it out, finished in within an hour.
Yeah, it was quick and easy, just like we like it.
Yeah,
Thanks to those who attended. Ryan was a help. He brought the Greendale Main Street tent, helped hold it down despite the wind, luckily. And, but yeah, our old friend Bill was there. Bill
oh,
Bill from the Redevelopment Commission.
yeah, Bill Harvey and.
Bill Harvey.
Al Abden was there.
Al Abden came. So, and they were appreciative of that invite. The mayor made some nice comments.
It
And,
was-
it
it
was a
was-
good day.
Yeah, it was really nice. They, BWF bringing all their employees over. They all seemed excited about it. It's not their president, is one of their, I don't know, what's his name?
Philip von Waldenfels from Germany was in town, which is why they wanted to do it on that particular day. So,
He was flying out that night to Indonesia, I think,
yeah.
for another one of their
Yeah.
companies. So, it's exciting, so. Okay, on to new business. We had the bids, we opened last meeting, the meeting before, for the train bridge. I think, Nathaniel, what's the recommendation is to,
So me and Anthony met and discussed it. Our recommendation would be to not accept either bid at this time, and for you guys to consider having a engineering firm put together an actual scope of work with unit pricing on this. The main reason being, if you read through Sonorama, who's substantially higher, they covered their cost. They basically had no true numbers to work off of or scope, so they factored in everything they could factor in. So like they have factored in really the best graphics you can find, and took me a while to review that, but I found them online. They factored in NDOT traffic control, they factored in what the railroad's gonna cost them to have their people out on site. And as far as your 1-year agreement, they'll do anything that needs done in that 1 year. Where ABC is lower, but they have a few clauses in here. I mean, one of the main ones is it's subject to a site visit and they do their own surveys. So that 72,000 you could accept and it could be ballooned. They also, in their one-year agreement, it's basically a visual inspection, and that's it. And they did a lower level, like, graphics. So Sinorama probably is the more responsive bidder, but ABC's argument's gonna be, well, if we would've had a scope of work and knew what you wanted, maybe we would've been. So that's why me and Anthony felt it's best that we just don't accept either one, and if you guys want to get an engineering firm to put together a true scope of work on it.
It's just getting to be more and more expensive, and that's my worry. I don't know how much an engineering scope of work would,
For that, I couldn't tell you, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. I mean, I don't think it would be what like some of our road projects are. I really don't. Because I mean, these two companies were able to put together it themselves. I think it's more of the engineering firm can give a true conceptual idea of what you guys are looking for, and then the companies know exactly how to bid it. Where, like I said, Sinorama, and I'm not speaking for them, but essentially they're either gonna make a lot of money or they're gonna break even in the number they gave you guys. Because they didn't have true numbers to go off of and a true vision of what you guys want. It was all conceptual. And ABC the same. So, like I said, I don't think an engineering firm would be what some of our projects have been through Board of Works. But again, you know,
Did we set a maximum budget for this?
we did not. The only thing we've had is an estimate from Sinorama last year sometime of maybe
It's
100,000.
right at 100,000.
What did they bid?
We also had discussions when we started this about grants money
Mm-hmm.
kicking in a good chunk of this. I feel like that's kind of why we went down this path to begin with. And that grant money doesn't exist anymore, right? Or isn't available at this time?
Well, we've talked about a few things. We've talked about going after some grants. There is one grant in particular that the state had offered, which would make good sense for this project, but it's not on the table right now. It's just not funded at the state, so it's not an option today. Could be in the future. We talked about other local entities maybe being partners in funding the project, but no commitments are in hand there.
We talked about Visitors Bureau.
Yeah.
Yeah,
involvement,
tourism,
tourism.
cross out and help 'em, but, you know, I, to that point, I think, you know, the scope of work from tourism, we would, you know, kind of give an idea. Mike, do you think that grant is it possible it could come up in 27?
Well, this coming legislative session's a budget year at the State House, so essentially that's a program that gets funded again at the Indiana Destination Development Corporation. Possibly. We'll just have to see how the budget session goes and how the budget shakes out.
to answer your question, Sinorama was $137,263.81. And I'm pretty sure some of that number they had in there based on their breakdown was a lot of that expense is probably what they're gonna have to pay the railroad to be in there right away, where ABC specifically spelled out that the city redevelopment's responsible for the railroad pricing, because the railroad's gonna make you have 1 to 2 flaggers, no matter what, you're in there right away, they're gonna make you have that, and it's big fines if we're out there without them in there, so.
Yeah.
Was this, they started the conversation a while back. Where did this land on the list of priorities, or was it just like, this is kind of a nice thing to have?
I think it was kind of a nice thing to have, from my recollection.
Yeah, not really.
It was before our levy commitments
Yeah.
got into the millions.
Yeah.
We've not really invested anything into this project at this point.
Yeah.
So,
You guys want to table it and put it on the agenda for next time to see if we want to move forward? Do you guys want to just not move forward at this time?
What is the situation with didn't we have to get some type of lease from the
We-
railroad?
Yeah,
We were provided a lease agreement from them.
Did we sign that?
No.
Okay.
It was included in the bid package that we put out, to help, the bidding companies understand what the arrangement was going to be. But we did not sign it. So there's no land lease in place with the railroad at this time. Before we executed that, because the clock would start ticking on when the sign could be installed. So that's why we didn't sign it.
Wasn't there a fee that had to be paid, like $2,500 or so to get that?
There was a
There's a one-time fee?
There was a $1,000 application fee, which
Okay,
One Dearborn wrote the check for and sent in.
thank you.
It is yet to be deposited.
Guess we're not.
So I don't know, it's sitting on somebody's desk in Jacksonville.
Dealing with the railroad stuff.
Would it hurt to ask Rizzo, just a ballpark, hey, we know it's gonna be between 70 and 137, hopefully. There's been
Yeah.
I mean, I think,
fairness to those companies that have did this. I mean, I think,
yeah, I mean, if you wanted to,
I'm just throwing it out there. I don't,
I mean, I guess my only pushback to that would be if we gave Rizzo these numbers in contracts. Again, I think Sinorama and ABC tried to factor in, ABC factored in, I think, the bare minimum. I think Sinorama went above and beyond, but Rizzo's not gonna have a true number to work off of because they didn't design it, if that makes sense, I guess.
what I'm asking is, or saying is, don't let them, it's public knowledge what it is now.
Sure.
Is just say, okay, what would you charge the commission to develop an RFP?
Oh, have Rizzo,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I mean, we could do that, if that's what you guys wanna do.
I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, because, these folks bid this with the expectation of possibly receiving something. And,
I mean, you put out bids all the time, and sometimes you don't take the bids, though, so.
well, but most people bid off the same thing every time too.
Right.
It's- Conceptual's typically done on on a design build or something of that nature.
My feeling is that we should probably take it off of our agenda because I don't think that we're in a position, it's as high or on the a front burner program. And I don't see anything that would move it to the front burner and as a priority list of this group. Although I'd like to do it, I'd like for the graffiti, the 20-year-old graffiti of JW loves whatever. I don't
Yeah, it
like
is
that.
gone.
I don't like that winning at
You
this
actually
point.
read that,
but-
Chris?
Sorry?
You've actually read that?
No, that was a total guess, but, whatever it is.
It's wonderful.
I feel like we should probably remove it from our, I think it's a good thing for us to do, but I think we need to do a little bit more research and have a little bit, maybe a more well-constructed plan on whether we have access to additional funding, grants. Maybe identify clearly a source of funding that can help with this project that would fit that criteria and then go after it. And then
Yep.
maybe we've got some other things that are,
When, you said the legislative session was in when, June?
It starts in January and it'll go through, it'll be a budget year, so it'll probably go into end of April next year. And then, take some time for the agencies to figure out what's in the budget for them and what programs they want to offer. So it could be like middle of next year when we find out if the Indiana Destination Development Corporation grant comes back around. I think we may have enough with the information we've put together at this point to be able to develop an application for that program if it does open up.
Ryan, Aaron, Justin?
Doesn't seem like a priority to me at this time.
Do we need a motion to table it, or we just?
Let's, we don't have an legal here, so
Maybe-
let's do a motion.
Sorry, all I would say, I guess, is if you guys are wanting to put it on the back burner, I would maybe make the motion, and not to speak for you guys, but just to not accept the bids, and that, at least that way we're not leaving these companies
And
hanging.
that's what I was gonna say,
That's all I
too.
would say. At least if you guys just say we're not gonna accept either one, the companies understand they can move on.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we just do that, just make a motion to not accept and Therefore, it becomes on the back burner.
I'll make a motion, we don't accept either bid.
I
Okay.
will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Okay, so moved, thank you. The second thing on new business is just asking the commission if it is okay to move the interest that Becky had into the next CD, which, I know it's a while, but I'd like to just make sure this is behind us. August 22nd of this month, we have a $350,000 CD that will come due. And she sent that out also, or I did. It's like, I don't know, it's like 10,000 some odd dollars. So I would just ask that we authorize Becky to do that at the time of maturity.
I'll make a motion that we have the clerk treasurer reinvest the interest from the CD.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Not, everybody signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved.
Who was the second on that?
Ryan?
Brian. On Tepe, so Tepe sent a proposal to, there was a lot of damage on the islands. And I think in talking with them or in communication, basically what they said is the one island, it's just such a heavy snow this year and all the salt, they think that's what did it. So to get it back to the way it was originally or is, it's about a little bit over $4,700. The mayor did ask me, he goes, does that mean the Tourism Bureau is gonna pay for that? And I was like, no, the tourism, we're in a 10-year agreement with them just to take care of the maintenance of those islands. Anything new, because we already had something one time, a car actually went right through one of the islands. We never knew who it was, but they went through there and tore up a bunch of plants, and we had to redo this. So I think this is gonna be an expectation every once in a while, but pleasure of the commission.
Yeah, I think I would make the motion that we fund that replacement of those damaged plants through Tepe.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have a new business. We would like to get a request for an option to purchase property in a business, and the option would be at $5,000. And with that motion, would like for the motion to authorize me to sign the option to purchase if agreed by the owner.
I'll make a motion that we exercise the $5,000 option to purchase and give the president the right to sign for the option.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Last thing I have is, we get riverboat funds. We've talked about this a little bit. We get $150,000 budgeted to us from the riverboat funds from city council to use. Council has now, which I 100% agree, council has always said, okay, this group can have 150,000, this group, whatever, but there was never any requirement from the group that received the funds to have a budget that the council members could look at what they're spending. I think we should have that. So that, according to the council's last year's motion, so this will be for 2027 budget. that if we would like to have 150,000 of riverboat funds again in 2027, we need to give a budget for those funds to the clerk treasurer by July 31st of this year. You know, is it gonna be, first time we've ever done this, but, and then if we don't spend it, in many, many years, we have not spent. When I first came on, the riverboat budget for redevelopment was $500,000. And a lot of times, we might have spent 100,000. Last year, we ended up spending what was left. I think we had 103,000 left, which we gave to EMS. We chose to give to EMS. If not, that just goes back into riverboat, and then council just redoes it again. So put your thinking caps on, what we can spend it on. One thing a caveat is the council last year, they were doing 4.2 million to earmark for the levy improvement or match of a potential grant. Of that 4.2, 4.1 is coming from redevelopment over the next couple years, and 100,000 came from council. Council included that 100,000 in our riverboat this year. So,
Oh, so they gave us an extra 100,000?
no, they gave us
They gave
100.
us 50.
They gave us 50. And that's okay. Redevelopment's in a much different position we were when I first started, which is just knock on wood to everybody. Now, one thing we never, and again, so this year, we have to think about what we want to do with that 150. Do we only take 50,000 and put it in for the LCD match? Because with the interest we're going to get on the money we are putting away, we'll probably grow that over 100,000. But it's up, just put your thinking cap on, because we will start talking about, do we take 100,000 this year from the riverboat to put into CD?
Two questions.
Absolutely.
What can we spend riverboat money on?
I wish the attorney was here.
Okay.
It's probably the bigger question is what we can't spend TIF dollars on.
Is what we can spend riverboat money on?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
It usually
and
comes
Mike,
up-
you might be able to answer it, I don't.
Yeah, I think it gives you some more flexibility than TIF, which has to be invested in, in infrastructure and programs in specific areas, in your TIF, and on those projects where, on allowable types of expenses under statute, the riverboat dollars probably have a little bit more flexibility to them, but I don't know that I'm equipped to speak more specifically than that. Anthony's probably,
I would,
or Becky.
yeah, I would, just with our budget and me dealing with Becky, she has pretty much said the same thing, that riverboat, there's some more play in that
Yeah.
you can spend on, but to Mike's point, that's a Anthony question.
And then,
It's usually not something that's long, like, we don't have knowledge of what we'll spend it on because it's usually shorter notice,
It is, and
less
that,
less lead time projects.
Yeah.
The mobile restrooms for
Yeah.
the soccer,
Yeah.
the new scoreboard for Oki Park. Those are some of
in
the
the
projects
past,
that
we've
we've
done
used.
fire and EMS, and I don't think we can use TIF funds for that, I don't believe so. And this is gonna be the same thing, and the one that jumps out, the other one is Parks. Parks gets riverboat funds, and they use it the same way. Sometimes they're like, okay, man, this came up, something happened where in the park they need to replace them, and they use it for riverboat. So I don't think, and Ryan, I'm looking at you, I don't think council's going to, it just gives council an idea, because council controls the purse strings of the city. So it just gives them an idea of where you're gonna spend it. I think it's a smart thing. I think it's a smart thing we should do as a group to give council, and I think it's a good thing for council to get.
and then, is it $150,000 max, or is they just, have always given us 150 and that's where we sat?
No,
Could it be more?
Well, again, I've been on here for about 8 or 9 years. We were getting $500,000 a year. then it went down to 250, and a couple times during those years, as soon as we got to 250, the first meeting, the mayor was in saying, can we put away 50,000 for a new police cruiser? Can we put away 50,000 for something in the fire department? We did that, I'm looking at Mark,
Yeah,
a
it
year or
was-
two. So all of a sudden, then they had the money, but then they dropped it from 250 to 150.
But the 150 is just sort of precedent, if we had a project we wanted to go after, because we've been talking about a couple of things. We could make the request, they may not give it to us, but we can make the
We
request.
could, but we have to do it the year before, because the budget will come out for 27. I think we approve it in September or October, if I'm not mistaken, maybe November.
So if we came out this year though and
Could be
said,
October.
if we came in the summer and said, hey, there's this thing that we want to accomplish, we'd want 600,000 or whatever, they may say no.
We could, I would, as a council person, redevelopment, financially, we're sitting pretty well. The city's probably more constrained budget-wise than we are. Maybe not anymore with the levy funds. That might be
We put most of our fund, right? Didn't we put most of our funds?
Yeah, I would,
in
We
the
did.
I would
CD for the
disagree
levies?
with the
Yeah, yeah,
president
yeah.
on that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a lot of money sitting in investment
Just keep
accounts.
in mind,
Yeah,
keep in mind there's stuff I need to buy too with the city now, so.
Yeah,
just
so-
keep that in mind with your
But-
$600,000 you want to.
But Justin, to your point, we've never had that. I never, and before it was Al, I don't know how the riverboat line item from the council got, I've only been on a council member for 2 years.
Yeah.
I never knew how it got there, just the clerk treasurer put it there and everybody said, okay.
Yeah, but the crux of my
Yes, I
question
guess
is
we
like,
could, yes.
okay, all right.
Yeah,
So if that railroad project, if we wanted to prioritize that for 2027, there were an opportunity, and then we could,
yeah.
we
And
could
ma-
we
and
could move
maybe,
that to the front burner if we wanted to.
yeah, and, and I think, council may say, well, that's what you got riverboat for, potentially.
Yeah.
And we could put that in the 2027 budget. But I think it's a good thing. It doesn't have to be, and Ron, again, I'm looking at you, because it is new for the 3 or 4 groups of the city that get that. It's new for them to come up with a budget. For me, I can only speak for me as a council person, I don't think I'm gonna hold everybody hands to the fire, because, again, if Parks comes up and says, here's what we're gonna use our funds for, and all of a sudden something major happens, the pool breaks down in the middle of the summer.
Yeah. Yep.
So, it's just,
I think council just wants to know that there's a plan to
Yeah,
spend the money
yeah.
that's being requested.
yeah.
And our plan's probably just a historical record of here's what we've done in the last 2 years, in
And-
these kinds of.
And Chris, if we go back, there's a lot of times of the 150,000, I don't think we spent 50,000 at the most. So,
But we do have a big looming TIF cliff,
we do,
so we should be thinking about that as
we
well.
do,
Should be
in
thinking about-
2030,
Yeah.
right, yeah. So, any other things? Any audience comments? Go ahead.
Hi, Bryce Lewis, I'm a businessman in the area. I do consulting, marketing, hiring, general strategy. Enjoying it. I was told to come here. I think that one of the most valuable things that you can do for your community is develop land. That way generations of people to come can use that land, put a building on there. Some needs to be set aside for conservation. It's nice to have a walk in the forest, but building things that other people can use are awesome. So coming to the redevelopment committee, seeing what you guys are all about, seeing how I can get in the flow of things, get involved. I really like that. I learned a little bit about TIF over the past month. I've been doing some research into it. Do you guys have any current TIF allowances?
A lot.
A lot? So,
Most of our commercial land along 50 is TIFed.
that's great. That's great news.
Yeah, and Mike, I don't know, you told me, how much do we have, how much AV do we have under TIF in Greendale? We'd be one of the larger.
Close to 100 million of assessed value is in Greendale's under TIF, out of about 300 million in total AV across the city.
Yeah. So the predecessors of us, the mayors, current mayors, current council did a really good job of anticipating the TIF benefit and TIFing that. Yeah, it's not all people probably think TIF is a great thing.
Well, not a lot of people know about it. From what I understand, Lawrenceburg's just getting into it.
They are just getting into it. If you look at Marion County, Indianapolis, I don't think there's anything they don't TIF.
Yeah. But it's a very valuable program.
Yeah.
What have you guys used TIF for in the past? I'm trying to build a picture, just so you guys know what I'm doing. I'm trying to build a picture to where I can be the power, the energy behind some development in the area. So I want to see what you guys have done in the past and further the town's interest. If somebody's willing to stand up alongside me and help, but what have you guys done in the past?
A lot of infrastructure projects primarily on the areas that have developed along Highway 50 over the past 20, 25 years. Roads, drainage,
The
sewer,
area-
electric.
Yeah, the area where the cinemas are right now, that's complete due to TIF,
All of it.
all of it.
Fantastic. Would we like to continue that? So, got the hospital over there now. Would we like to be more entertainment or utility-based or medical? I'm just trying to,
There's
for you
a-
guys be, here soon, I will present some ideas to you guys, and I'm trying to see what you guys would like.
There's a Greendale comprehensive plan on the website that
Yeah.
lists out sort of what the city has said is the priorities. And so that's a good place to start. When we think about how we go about it, we make sure that everything aligns with the priorities of the comprehensive plan. So that's where I would probably start.
We do try to follow that very much so. Obviously, markets change and everything like that, so.
Sure.
We've also used TIF we've had a couple businesses that have considered moving out that employed quite a few people. And we've used some TIF. One of them is Anchor Glass, and they were gonna shut down 2 of their 7 plants. And we awarded them some money through the TIF, and they end up putting $70 million or more personal property improvements in the plant, so.
That's a great investment.
Yeah, it was worrisome at the beginning, but,
TIF program
because.
wasn't as mature as it is
Yeah,
now.
yeah, so we just kind of look at everything and, as far as what we're looking for, I would agree. I think the comprehensive plan, would cover a lot of what we're looking for.
Be a good document to read if you kind of want to understand the direction of Greendale and where this board and the council, what their vision is for the city.
Thank you.
Okay, well, welcome, thank you. Any other comments, questions, concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, look at that.
I know. Told my wife I should get out at 7.
Used to go like
I'm never
almost
right.
2 hours. And it was like, it
When I was
was,
on planning and zoning, I wasn't trying we were making it happen.
Yeah.
Getting with all this last night.
She's not